Good morning. Think I am dead on time at 10 o'clock, hopefully. Happy Saturday. Good morning to you all. I'm just waiting for a few people to join us. Thank you, Kitty, for covering the last couple of days worth of Facebook Lives. I think I was just a bit run down, had a bit of a cough coming, but I'm all good now. So hopefully I won't be too croaky for you. I don't know if you saw the pictures before I was setting up. I'll see if I can spin it around so you can see him. Managed to put him in his bed. So hopefully we won't get any interruptions. He was jumping on the desk this morning. Morning, Kitty. Okay. Lovely. I've got a few of you on already. Quite a few. Morning, Judith. Hope you're well. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. I'm doing good. I've had a couple of days of doing absolutely nothing. Morning, Alison. Yes, thank you. I'm doing really well. Had a couple of just really relaxing days, which I think I needed. So I think I've managed to get on top of everything before I got too poorly. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just wait for a couple more to join us. I had quite a few messages, people saying they were setting their alarms so that they didn't miss it today. Morning, Jenny. So I set my alarms as well. I was worried I was going to miss it. I'm going to turn the camera down in a minute so that you can see everything I'm doing, and I'm going to tilt over. I haven't got any blinds up in the study yet. As you know, we only moved in a couple of weeks ago. So, oh, morning, Mum. Hi, Debbie. We only moved in a couple of weeks ago, so we've got no curtains or blinds up yet. So it's a bit sunny, which is beautiful, but hopefully you can see everything okay. Morning, Julie. Good to see you feeling better. Yes, thank you. I'm fine. Morning, Marie. Lovely. Got lots of you this morning. Okay, so as you know, throughout the last week, Kitty and I, on the Totally Beads page and on the website, have been giving away free PDF patterns. And today is using stretch elastic. So it's a multi-row stretch elastic bracelet. These are the bracelets that the pattern will make. And you can go onto the Totally Beads website. Down on the side, morning Angela, morning Joe, morning Dorothy. Got lots of you this morning. Hope you're all having a good Saturday so far. It's a bit early so far, isn't it? Okay, so these are the bracelets that you will be making with the PDF pattern today. So it's made up of Gemduos. We've got some lovely little O beads and some bicones as well, and they are stretch elastic. I wish you could see the patterns that are coming off these bicones in the sun. They look beautiful. So Dorothy, I've made these. I love them. Oh, they're fantastic, aren't they? And they're actually really easy. So this could be the first thing that you are ever beading. You don't particularly need any really intricate skills or lots of knowledge of techniques to be able to do it. We are just using a needle and some stretch elastic. So it's all about the shapes of beads and making them create the pattern very simply. Kitty has beautiful instructions, and this is the free PDF for today. So that's for today, Saturday, the 4th of April. I only know it's the 4th because it's my dad's birthday tomorrow. Okay, so go on to the Totally Beads website. Down on the side, you will see a category called Free Projects. You can click on the PDF for today only, so it's for 24 hours. So this will be until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And you will be able to add that to your basket, and that will get emailed to you for free. Okay, so a few other things that you can do with stretch elastic. Morning, Camille. Morning, Shona. Beautiful. Can't wait to make one. I know, they're really lovely. Morning, Jackie. Wow, you are all with us today. Lovely. I hope you're having a nice day. I hope you've got the weather that I do. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so stretch elastic is a really simple one to work with. I think sometimes it puts people off because it's so simple that, oh look, you can see them shining, lovely. It's so simple, but don't forget about it because you can make some beautiful pieces. So very simply, you can make things just as simple as a single strand. And of course, it's great for using with some of your bigger beads if you use a nice strong elastic. Morning, Karen. Morning, Kim. Morning, Elaine, Bernie, Christine. Hello. Good morning, everyone. So stretch elastic can be so simple, nice little stacks of bracelets. And then when you're feeling confident enough, and hopefully with a few tips that I'll give you today, you can move on to multi-strands. Now, you'll see that a lot of the time, Kitty and I have these on our Create and Craft shows. There are lots of divider bars. Excuse me, there are lots of divider bars on the website, and this will allow you to create multiple strands of bracelets really simply but with some gorgeous detail as well. So you can add simple beads, just leftover beads from your stash, and you can create them as individual bracelets and then just knot them together. So that's a really nice way of doing them. And Kitty does have some beautiful multi-row patterns on the website as well. So of course you can get the next generation with Gemduos today as the free download, but we also have lots of different kits for things like this as well. So there are a few different variations that you can actually make. I'm just trying to get the proper name of this one. This is the multi-row elastic bracelet with super duos and check cabochons. So you can see that it's got almost like a candy bead. So they are the round multi-hole beads through the centre. But again, they're really simple to make. So I'm going to make the next generation with you. And we are using, I'm going to turn you down now. The dog's asleep in his bed, so hopefully we'll get no interruptions now. I'm going to turn this down. Morning, Chris. Morning, Paula. Hi to you all. Hope you're feeling better. Yes, I am. Thank you, Paula. I'm doing good. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down so that we can see, and I'm just going to shift myself to the side a little bit because I'm going to try and block the sun for you. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and I can still see your comments. So if anyone has any questions with anything I'm doing or with any of the patterns that you've had so far, let me know. Also, let me know if you've been making anything. We'd love to see all of your pictures. So for today, I'm using super duos. Gemduos. I'm also using the O beads, and they are complete little beads that are just little discs. They're really fantastic to use. It just gives a really nice accent and a pop of colour in your makes. And I'm also using bicones. Now I've got a lovely flat stretch elastic from Totally Beads. They do them in lots of different colours, so depending on what kit you buy, you'll always get the right colour as well, which is really lovely. It's a great one to work with. And I'm using an easy eye needle. And these also come in all of your kits. You might have a few at home. I have bigger variations of these in my toolkit. So if you don't have any, that's a good place to start as well. So an easy eye needle is fantastic for those of us who want to do it quickly, but also struggle threading any needles. So as you can see, the whole body of the needle actually opens up. Morning, Paula. Morning, Sandra. Morning, Sue. So the whole body opens up. You can take your elastic and just pop it straight through, a couple of centimetres worth, and then move that to the end of your needle. And that's going to mean that you can pick up fantastic smaller beads very easily. So in this pattern, what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate between an O bead, a bicone and an O bead, and then I'm going to pick up my Gemduo. Now when you're picking these up, you just want to make sure that you're always picking them up in the same direction. So you can see here they have a flat back, and on the reverse, well, the true side, they have a little ridged edge. So they are pronounced on the front side and flat on the back. But because we have two sets of holes going through them, so there is a hole through the top and there is also a hole through the bottom, which will mean that we can create a really lovely bracelet very easily, but you want to make sure you're threading them on the right way all the same time, because of course you want them to be sat in the pattern. So what I'm doing is sitting them flat on the mat. I've just spilled them out so that I've got a few sitting the right way up. Hopefully you can see that. Please let me know if the sun is too much and you can see. And so I'm going so that it is the correct way up and always through the top. And you can see that what I'm doing is building up this lovely little pattern with a Gemduo, an O bead, a bicone, O bead, Gemduo, and repeating it. So I'm going to do a few of these before I start on the second row. Please do excuse my little croaky voice if it starts to play up. Okay, so we're just going to thread these on all the way down to the bottom. And this is going to be the start and the top of my bracelet. And it really isn't tricky. I think stretch elastic gets really overseen and we do forget about it. But with the amount of shaped beads we have now and beautiful finishes as well, you really can create something stunning And of course, don't forget, if you're gifting these or selling them, stretch elastic is going to be a one size fits all. So it does mean that if you're gifting or selling, you can make these up in what's deemed as a standard size. Of course, the great thing is if you're making it for yourself, stretch elastic bracelets can be a bit tricky in the shops because they do make them a standard size. So if you are a bit smaller or larger than obviously what shop size is, what's sold in the shops, of course now you can start making them for yourself. I can tell I'm going to start struggling with my voice. I'm very sorry. This is probably the most I've spoken for about 2-3 days. Did anyone see the Create and Craft shows when we had the USBs on? Hopefully you managed to get some great deals and some good bundles. We had a really good, busy show, and we had a double show as well, so it was an hour and a half, which is nice. Since Create and Craft changed the show times, it's now only 45 minutes, but we had a nice little double, which was good. You might have seen on some of our marketing that I was meant to be on air today at 4:30, but we have cancelled that one. That one isn't going to air at 4:30 today, but I will be on Wednesday on Create and Craft. And shall I give you a quick sneak peek? Let me give you a sneak peek of what I'm doing. So I'm going to be there on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, so in the jewellery hour, but we're going to be making some beaded lavender. So just like the rose that I had on a couple of weeks ago, I've got the lavender to show you now. So it's the next thing in French beading. Excuse me. Some of you will have made these in our workshops before. So this is going to be the next edition. So that's going to be on Wednesday. I actually made that one as a keepsake when I got married a couple of years ago. I'll carry on with what I'm doing. When I got married a couple of years ago, my mum and I went to the lavender fields in Hitchin, and we filled bags and bags. We picked loads of fresh lavender a couple of days before the wedding, and then we used those to decorate our tables. We had like a little inside and outside seating area, so we just used some really nice little jars and filled them with the lavender. So I made that pot of lavender as a little keepsake and a memory of that, and I've got a picture of Mum and I picking the lavender on the day that sits with. So of course they're going to last forever. It's just a really nice piece of decoration and home decor, and a nice use for beads other than jewellery as well, which I know a lot of you are liking. We're trying to challenge ourselves to new things at the moment. Excuse me. So it's a really nice make on that. Okay, so I've got quite a lot of this bracelet done already. Excuse me. Trying to keep my throat not so croaky with a nice hot drink. Okay, so you can see it builds really quickly, and you don't have to pay too much attention to it either. So obviously I've still been talking to you and creating this. It's not quite long enough, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the second part anyway. Hi Angela, looking forward to my bundle arriving. It's keeping me going. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, well, you're going to be making for months with those bundles. Doris, Sarah, I could not get the bead bundle without the USB that you showed us on Create and Craft. I asked Totally Bead, but Simon said he did not have them. Oh, Doris, you just missed out. Yeah, unfortunately, the shows were super busy, so they were sellouts pretty quickly. Hopefully, they'll be able to put something together for you. Okay, so actually, you can see I've only got a few extra beads. Let's just do it. Okay, so when you're sizing up your stretch elastic, you want it to sit reasonably loosely on your wrist, but you want it to be, because you want it loose enough that of course it's going to go over your knuckles, but you want it tight enough so that when it actually sits on your wrist, it's not too baggy. So this one is a little bit large for me. I would prefer it so that they sit like this. So we'll do it with this one. So just make sure that you can touch the elastic on either side, but that there are no gaps in any of the stretch elastic. Oh, Doris, Kitty has just commented and said that the bundles are back in stock. They have managed to make a few more up. I think that's because we had planned to go to Air today, so they have made new bundles. So it might not be the exact colours. For example, if we had a purple bead in one kit, you might now get a different shade of purple. But Doris, if you are still interested, get in touch or go onto the website or email Kitty and Simon back on the page and they will sort that out for you. Kitty and Simon and everybody in the warehouse are doing a fantastic job of still getting all the orders out. We haven't had any delays, which is nice. They're doing a great job of keeping everything going and keeping everyone safe, which is lovely. And I know that everyone is super grateful, so thank you guys. Okay, so when you sit it on your wrist, you want it to be so that there aren't any gaps in between your beads, excuse me, but that it is going to sit perfectly and still be big enough to go over your wrist. So I'm nearly there with this one actually. And you also want to make sure that when you finish your pattern, let's just size this up. Okay, so I think I've probably got about 2 more links to do. When you finish your pattern, you want to make sure that one side of your elastic is going to finish on the opposite side of the pattern to the start, because of course we're going to loop these around together. So you don't want to finish on the same beads, you want it to be the next step of the pattern. So I think I'll add one more set here, and that's probably about my sizing done. What you can do, of course, is measure your wrist rather than holding them up to your wrist. You can measure it and then lay your ruler flat and just make sure that you've got the right sizing. So at the beginning of my bracelet, I've started with a Gemduo. So on this side, I want to finish with my O, bicone and O beads, because when I then bring them together, perfect. When I bring them together, it's going to be the right size to sit without any gap in my beads, but still big enough to go over my wrist. So that's going to be lovely. Lucy, I bought all 3 bundles a couple of months ago. I'm still a little overwhelmed as to where to start. Never made jewellery before. Oh, Lucy, the best thing to do, load up your USB, have a little look through the projects and just find something that you like the look of. Don't worry about techniques or how difficult it might be. I'm assuming you're starting with USB 1, which is starting jewellery. So you will manage any of those, no problem. So just start off with one you like the look of so that it's going to keep you inspired and entertained and you're going to love watching it grow. And then just open up your bundle, make a cup of tea, sit down and relax and just follow it step by step. You might want to watch the video first. If you watch the video and the make along first, it might give you a little idea of any problems that you might come across. It might squash those before you even start. And then just don't put any pressure on yourself. And at the end of the day, if anything goes wrong, you can just undo it. So even with something like this, if you find that in your pattern you've gone awry or something's gone amiss, you've missed a bead, I'm just having a look to check that I haven't, I don't think I have, then you can quite simply unthread it and start again. So don't be too daunted by it or overwhelmed. And Kitty and I are always online. We've got our Facebook Messenger on the pages, of course, emails as well. If you need any help, just get in touch. Hi, Paula. Who's at the bottom now? Oh, hi, Dean. Okay, so I'm going to now start on the second row. I'm just going to space these out a little bit. You'll see that they are quite clustered together and you kind of get this little buckling. So I'm just going to stretch them out so that I have space to work now on the second row. I've cut a new length of stretch elastic and I'm going to start filling in the gaps along the base. So I've added the needle onto my piece of elastic. Do excuse me, I'm very sorry. I haven't got the lurgy, don't worry. I've had no temperature, I've had no other symptoms. I've just had a bit of I think tonsillitis coming, but I've managed to I've managed to curb it before it gets too bad, I think. Okay, so I'm going to start by going through the... Let me move this over so you can see. Hopefully you can see. The comments are in the way now, so I can't see, but hopefully I'm blocking the sun enough for you. I'm going through the second bead of the Gemduo. So across the first hole, sorry, the second hole of the Gemduo bead, Across my first hole is my first section of my stretch elastic, and now in the bottom I'm going to start filling some gaps. So I'm going to take my needle through that Gemduo, like so, and then we're going to start and repeat our pattern. So now I just need to fill the gaps, so we don't actually need any more Gemduos at all. I'm now only going to work with the O beads and with the bicones. So I will pick up an O bead, a bicone and an O bead, move these down to the bottom, and then I'm going to go through the next Gemduo and the spare hole. So that's the second hole in the base. And when I pull this through, and the elastic is a little bit tighter to get through at the beginning because you have it doubled over through the Easy Eye needle. But as soon as you get past that first bit, so I tend to bring it down first of all and then go through the Gemduo. Just hold the Gemduo and pull the needle through. And I only have a very small tail, so it's only a couple of centimetres worth at the base. It shouldn't come off. It shouldn't come off because it actually holds it in place perfectly, the Easy Eye needle. But keeping that tail shorter is going to minimise the movement on it as well. So you can see some of them are a little bit harder. Just pull that through. And if at any point you can't pull it through, get your flat nose pliers. I haven't got mine to hand. Get your flat nose pliers, hold that and pull it through with your pliers if you don't have the strength in your hands. Okay, so have a look at how this is now building. So you can see that the O beads and the bicones sit beautifully in between the Gemduos, and it's just going to give us a really lovely pattern. When I pull this nice and tightly, the O beads sit diagonally on the holes of the Gemduos, and the bicones just give that beautiful shape. So Kitty has done the hard bits for you really with the designing. Of course, the Gemduos have quite a triangular finish to them. So adding the bicones in just really highlights that and replicates that in the pattern. And then, of course, all of the colours in these kits are done for you as well. Now, remember, you've got the free download that will be available for 24 hours. Which you can just pop into your basket for those of you who missed the beginning part of the video. Going on to the website, down on the left-hand side, there is a category called Free Projects. And for the next 24 hours, this will be the pattern that you will be receiving. Just add it into your basket, check out, and that will get emailed through to you. But we do also have kits. So obviously I know the components of these you might not just have in your stash at home. So we're using bicones, O beads, which are these gorgeous little beads. You wouldn't really think much of them seeing them in a pack, but then when you start integrating them into designs like this, you can see they really have a beautiful use. And we're also using the Gemduos. Now we've got flat stretch elastic and an Easy Eye needle. So if you do have lots of shaped beads in your crafty stash, then this is going to be a great way to use them up. There's also lots of other multi-row bracelets on the website. So if you do need any kits, just pop on there. We are still sending out orders as normal. I don't know of any delays. I'm sure they will keep you up to date on the Facebook page and on your newsletters. But at the moment, everything is running super smoothly. I know everyone is working very hard to make sure you're all still getting your supplies. Okay, look at this. Coming together really nicely, very simply. And all we're going to do at the very end is tie the edges together. Now, I'm going to do it on this one just to show you. Now, I like to use a surgeon's knot. I know on Kitty's, she likes to use a reef knot. It's basically the same knot with a little bit of added strength, turning a reef knot into a surgeon's knot. So I don't think we need to do... or shall I just complete it for you? You're still with me, aren't you? It won't take me too long. Let's just complete it. We always said these were going to be nice little make-alongs, so whilst the dog's still asleep and I've got no interruptions, let's just crack on. So many people, many different teachers, many different designers will finish stretch elastic in a different way. I like to use a surgeon's knot. Kitty in her instructions puts a reef knot. It's basically the same, just with an added extra little twist. You can even just tie overhand knots, and I would always recommend finishing them with a little dollop of glue or even a clear nail varnish. which is also, sometimes it's a better one to use than glue because it doesn't actually dry out as much as things like a super glue or if you use some of your crafting glues, they tend to go a little bit brittle over time, and especially when with stretch elastic, obviously it has some movement, they can crack. So if you just put a little dollop of clear nail polish, that's always worked really well for me. And then of course you can sink your knots into the bead and they can be completely invisible. Okay, so we've only got a little bit more to go. You can see it comes together really nice and quickly. Let's move these ones down to the end. And again, you want to make sure that your pattern is finishing. Oh, look, I've missed a bead. Let's see if I can go back through. 9 times out of 10, I would recommend you just unthread your elastic and come back through and then start again. But you'll see I pulled the elastic right out of the way. I think I'm doing okay. I think that's the only one I've missed. Oh no, I've missed a couple of O beads. Never mind. I can do it again when I'm not too worried about time. And again, like we said, Lucy, saying that you're a little bit overwhelmed with it still and not knowing where to start. It's easy to be overwhelmed with it, but there really isn't anything to be worried about. If you do go wrong at any point, like I've missed a couple of beads on these, you can quite simply just undo it and start again. There is no right or wrong. You're not using too, and in the bundles, obviously, Kitty has made sure that you've got surplus materials. So you do have that little bit of margin of error as well. You're not going to waste too much. Doris, don't apologise, you're doing okay. Oh, thank you. Hi, Jane. Marie, so easy but so pretty. Exactly. This is the thing. You want to achieve really great looks. And when you're using a pattern like Kitty's come up with here and you're using the right materials, it really is simple. Lucy, that looks gorgeous. Paula, can't wait for my packs to come. I know, right? They're fantastic. So look at this. A little half an hour, 45 minutes out of your day, and you've got a really beautiful project. Okay, so when it comes to finishing them, what you're going to do is take one end through to the other. Oh, this one's still attached to my spool, so let's do this end. That's my right side as well, so I won't have to undo this one. Okay, so when you bring them together, I'm going to tie a reef knot like Kitty would in her instructions. So you will take left over right and pull that down. And then you will take right over left. And that's a reef knot. And a reef knot is a great one to use because a reef knot gets stronger under pressure. So when it is pushed together, it can unravel. When it's pulled apart, it gets stronger. So it's a great one to use for stretch elastic because, of course, it will very often be pulled apart. It's not going to be pushed together. And this is what it will look like. You will end up with just that big circle. So when it comes to tightening it, you just pull together your 2 strands at the very bottom so that there is no gap in between the beads. And you'll see I'm just pulling it ever so slightly, slowly, but there isn't a gap in the beads. And then you will pull this and you will shrink it down. Now, if you want to tie a surgeon's knot, you quite simply transfer your reef knot to a surgeon's knot by taking one tail and wrapping it around that circle once or twice. And this elastic is actually quite sticky. Well, not sticky to touch, but it holds very well. So if you're using things like the see-through, or you can get like a Stretch Magic, things like, you'll know if it's a slippy elastic, or these fibrous ones tend to be very strong. So I'm not going to do more than one. And you will just pull that down, shrink this knot down, give it a really good pull, and then I'm also going to pull the body of it apart. Remember I said that a reef knot will get stronger when it's pulled apart, and that is also going to shrink it down to a really small knot. And that will pretty much be invisible in your pattern. So much so now I can't see where it is. There it is. So once you put a little bit of clear nail polish on there, you can actually then sink that into the bead and you'll feel it pop in. And then just sit it down and allow it to dry. And that varnish, excuse me, will dry it inside the bead, and then it's going to be held on in there. And I'm not going to tie the other one because once I'm finished with you, I'm going to unthread a few, and I'm just going to go back to where a couple of my mistakes were. I've just missed out on a couple of the O beads, because then I'll post a picture of this when it's finished. But have a look. Really lovely and simple pattern. And remember, today you're going to get it from Totally Beads for free. So this is what they look like finished. These are the kits that Kitty has available on the Totally Beads website, and the lovely colours. Let's have a look. I have a kit, but I don't know how, Sue. Oh, hopefully, Sue, now you know. Lucy, it's my next project. I'm just finishing off the diamond art. Oh, lovely. And then I'm going to start on jewellery making. Lucy, you're keeping yourself busy. Well done. Marie. Lucy, once you start, you'll be hooked. Absolutely, you completely will. So yes, this is what they're going to look like. There are a few different variations. So once you've mastered that, have a little look at these as well. So you can start getting very simple effects using different shaped beads. These are the hematite discs that we have. You can bead into those. Some of these hematites have multiple holes, so you can make very simple very intricate effects, but using simple materials. And hopefully now you've mastered stretch elastic as well. So all of these are just using stretch elastic. So you don't need to know any intricate skills. You don't need to have lots of knowledge of different techniques. We're just using a needle and a knot. So hopefully that's very familiar territory for you all as well. So I am going to go and rest my voice now, get a nice hot drink, probably take him out for a walk because he's going to wake up at any minute now. Thank you so much for joining us again. I really hope you've been enjoying the Facebook Lives. Kitty and I are putting together a plan for next week as well. So we're going to be doing lots more of the PDF giveaways. If there are any techniques that you would like to learn, then please let us know. For today, for the next 12 hours, so that's for Saturday the 4th of April, for those of you who are watching this later on, it's the next generation with Gemduo beads. That will be available until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, Kitty, you're going to have to remind me. I can't remember what I'm doing. I'm very sorry. I've had a couple of days off, so my brain's gone to mush. But I will be here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock doing another Facebook Live. Please join us. Let us know if there is anything else that you would like to see. Next week so far, we've got some more chainmail. We're also going to be doing some odd and even count peyote. I'm going to show you the difference between the two. Odd count peyote has a funny little turn in it, so I'm going to cover that for you next week. If there is anything else, then please let us know, and we will see you next week. Stay safe at home, everybody. Remember, something that I've loved seeing at the moment is that you're not stuck at home, you're safe at home. So just that little bit change in a word, and hopefully your mental attitude towards it will make you feel a bit better too. Hugs and kisses tomorrow, Kitty. I knew you'd still be there. Thank you. Hugs and kisses bracelets tomorrow. I might have one I can show you, actually. Bear with me 1 second. Here we go. I've got it all to hand. I think you're absolutely going to love these. So tomorrow is Hugs and Kisses bracelets. Look at these. So a little bit of weaving tomorrow. We're going to be using 2 different sizes of pearls. We've also got some beautiful bicones and a magnetic clasp. Jackie says, bezeling a Rivoli, please. Okay, Jackie, not a problem. We will add that onto the list. Please do get in touch with us. Remember, these are for you. So if there is anything that you would like to see, let us know and we will add it to the list. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. Take care for today. Enjoy your bracelets. Stay safe at home and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Bye.